Greetings, fellow citizens of the Interwebs. This is Rendog coming at ya in another Minecraft episode from the HermitCraft server. We're kicking things off today, everybody, from GIGACORP Colony HC-10. And you might have noticed that since the last time we were together, there has been quite a lot of changes. Quite a number of new trees have arrived. And actually, as far as changes go, trees are the only thing that I've been working on here in the base. On live stream over the last couple months, I have been planting trees upon trees upon trees upon trees. My trillium trees, of course, and it has been quite the grind that I didn't really know how to put into an episode, and as it was going to take a really long time to do, I decided to just focus on getting the task done on stream, and when I was happy with the progress, we would get back to episodes here on my YouTube channel. And, well, I am so excited to show you the amazingness that is the base now. We've planted something like 60 plus trees over the course of the last couple of months, most of them around the new storage facility that we set up a while back, a couple of episodes ago. And it has really transformed the colony into a much closer version of the vision that I originally had for this base at the start of the season. And it is just looking kind of wild now. The whole base has a whole new lease of life to it. It's really come together. It really is amazing what a bunch of custom trees will do to a Minecraft base. It just helps to tie the whole vision together, doesn't it? And, well, I guess I've been working really hard at this because, well, most of you will probably know at this point that HermitCraft Season 10 is coming to an end. At the end of September 2025, we're going to be closing the doors on what has been a most spectacular and amazing season. And for me in particular, I'm going to be closing the door on GIGACORP. Yes, Rendog is going to be retiring from GIGACORP after being in service since episode 1 of season 9. And as far as the future of my time here on HermitCraft is concerned, I'd like to start trying to do some other stuff, working on some new ideas and new concepts and new lore. And as I feel I'm really close to finishing this base now, I am more than happy to leave the legacy of GIGACORP here in season 10. And it has been an absolute pleasure to have brought this wacky and wild idea to life for all of you guys out there over the last couple of years. It's not to say that GIGACORP is gone forever. It might show itself up in somewhere else at some point. But at least for the next season of HermitCraft, we're going to be exploring some new ideas. That's not to say that our work here is done, however. There is still quite a few things that I would like to do over the course of September. Got a few more weeks to go, and I've got a few more things to do in the base to completely finish it off. Number one, I'm concerned that at the moment, in the lore of GIGACORP, we do not really have a power source at the moment. In the lore, of course, the colony produces its power from liquid sulfur that comes from squirter pods. And though we have the liquid sulfur available, we do not have a way to turn the liquid sulfur into power of some kind. So I've got another couple of big builds planned to finish off my season here. Number one, I'd like to make a power plant that is going to be converting the liquid sulfur into energy. And my plan is to put it right over here, where the statue is. Now, since we were last together, there have been some shenanigans. Always shenanigans available in my base, apparently. There has been a very strange update to the Rendog statue. And that looks like a good times with Scar Skull sitting on top of my statue in a very grandiose pose, which is glorious. Love the pink pants. Also, since the last time we were together here, guys, the view around the GIGACORP base is absolutely insane. Over there to the left, Pearl's base looking magnificent, and of course Cyber City just looking insane with Joel's incredible base behind it in the background. Such amazing views all around from my base now. If we fly a little bit in this direction and go park ourselves on top of the resin machine, look how amazing the view is in the direction of the neighborhood. False's base looking absolutely incredible. so gorgeous. And of course, on top of there is Cleo's monster finally emerging itself from within its lair. And what an amazing sight that is to behold too. On this side, we see Jevin working real hard on his castle, trying to get that done before the end of the season 2. And yes, I am so proud and so honored that this is my base for season 10, smack bang in the middle of all of these incredibly talented Minecraft artists. What an absolute honor and a joy it is. By the way, at the moment, busy repopulating the space rat population because over the course of the last half a year, all the space rats have despawned or died or have vanished. I don't know what's happened to them, so we're making more so that we can end the season with the base fully populated with all the life forms that brings the whole place to life. So, yes, I guess a bit of a bittersweet episode today. Don't really like even saying the words that season 10 is coming to an end. You know, this place has been my home now for over a year and a half, and I'm going to be really sad to leave it. Not only has this place been my home, but GigaCorp has been, you know, at the front of my lore brain. It was but a small, tiny idea that sparked in my head many years ago, and I've been working so diligently over these last few years trying to bring it to life. And it is getting there. I am very pleased with where I got to in the whole GigaCorp line of things. If we have a look at the GigaCorp base here on the main map, it's just so cool, so much better than I ever envisioned. And I couldn't be more proud of what I've achieved here in Season 10. Definitely one of my most detailed bases I've ever made in HermitCraft, and certainly the most detailed lore that I've ever put together in a HermitCraft season. And I think what brings me the most amount of joy is the incredible amount of love that you GigaCorp fans out there have been showing me over the course of these last few years. I know a lot of you guys have been very invested in the storyline and very invested in the concept and idea of GigaCorp, and I'm just so pleased that I was able to bring you this really, really cool idea, and how generously you all embraced it and allowed me to, just get on with nonsense over here, creating some really, really weird stuff here in the middle of the HermitCraft server. Speaking of awesome and weird stuff, I wanted to take you guys over to the gallery because not only are we very close to finishing the GigaCorp base, but I am delighted to announce that my section of the art gallery is now completed. I received, quite frankly, a mind-blowing number of entries for my art gallery submissions. And I'm going to be quite frank, it was basically impossible to decide which pieces of art were going to go into this gallery. But I did my best, and I put together a really great selection of art that I wanted to show you guys in this episode. So let's head over into the GigaCorp gallery of the HermitCraft fan art gallery. And, well, we have a steward over here, a little Gigabot, welcoming everybody who comes to have a look at the amazing GigaCorp art. Right in the center of the gallery is another little Squirtapod Tenderbot looking after that Squirtapod, and this is a nice representation of our custom biome that we created in the colony itself. And there's this little guy just looking after the foliage, making sure that this place is, well, sporific, of course. I try to get as many spores as possible into this room too, to make sure that the spores are ever present. And of course, that is the case in the GigaCorp lore. The spores are super important. They are the reason why they are myceliums. The spores create the myceliums. So, yeah, very important to have spores in the gallery too. And of course, there are 5 incredible pieces of art here done by some of my amazing fan artists out here. And I want to take you guys through each of these and just talk through them because each of these was painstakingly selected to be a part of this gallery. One of them, of course, was chosen by my community, and I think that's a really great place to start. On my Discord community, discord.gg/Rendog, we posted all of the artworks that I was going to choose for my gallery, and the community voted for this one, Space Rat Infestation by Styrofoam. And it is a magnificent piece of art indeed. The theme of my gallery is a day in the life of a GigaCorp scientist. That is the only brief that the artists were given, and each of them worked tirelessly to bring that vision to life. And Styrofoam did such a great job. Here's Rendog chilling in the Giga Hut, with a space rat infestation at the moment. Space rats nibbling at his ears and at his hands and at his toes, and nibbling at the cables too. Look at that little guy's face. Absolutely adorable. And I love all the small little touches that Styrofoam included here. A little space rat playing with some artifacts back there. There's a mycelium sapling, it looks like. It's some gigabots being worked on, maintained in the corner. Love the reference to the blueprints, which of course was such a large part of my season. And there is the multipass that I gave to Falsimetry, who is chilling over there in the window, just staring in. And behind Falsimetry is Greg, the Creeklium. Can you see him back there? Having a look into the place. And this is another face that I'm not sure I quite recognize. I think it's Cubfan or some other hermit, or I don't know exactly what it is, but yes, really delightful to see some of the characters that were quite a large part of my Season 2 being a part of this one. Love the liquid sulfur tank over here, right? Being chewed on by the space rat. This is probably some dangerous activity happening in here. The space rat is about to unleash some sulfur juice into the Giga Hut. That can't be good. And very much enjoy the little dog paw at the bottom of my boot over here. Isn't that such a nice touch? So many lovely little Easter eggs in this artwork, and great job, Styrofoam. Love this one. Now, as I mentioned, choosing these pieces was basically impossible. Although this one was easy. I let my community choose this one. I didn't even have to think about it. But for the remaining 4 pieces, that was a lot more difficult. And I took a couple of days to try and figure out exactly how to do this. And I started off by allowing myself to choose my personal favorite. Some of you on my live stream have probably already noticed that this is the desktop background of my PC, and this is by far one of my favorite pieces of fan art ever created for me by the wonderful Savenchi. It is called the Gigatruck, and it is, quite frankly, a mind-blowing conception of this crazy Gigatruck idea that I had all the way back at the start of Season 10. If I were to ever create some sort of a live-action anime of GigaCorp, this is what it would look like. This design of the Gigatruck by Savenchi is so much more awesome than I could ever have imagined the Gigatruck being. Even in my own imagination, when I conceptualized this build and conceptualized this idea, it did not look like this. Nowhere near like this, in fact. And it is just so stinking cool. Everything about this, for me, captures everything that I imagined GigaCorp to be. And I absolutely love it. Savenchi did such a great job on this one. And proud to have been able to put this one into my gallery. Now, the last remaining 3 pieces were much more difficult to choose. So what I decided to do was break my choice up into categories to make things a little bit easier, because by categorizing all of the incredible pieces that were sent to me, it lowered the numbers that I chose from. And the next piece that I want to talk about is A Day in the Life of a GigaCorp Employee by Purple Glitch. And this piece really caught my eye for a number of reasons. Number one, this is the only piece in the gallery that is an IRL piece of artwork. This is oil on canvas, that of course is scanned into a digital representation of it, but it is oil on canvas by a Purple Glitch. And this is capturing a moment from an episode that I made last year when I went to South Africa to see my family. I pre-recorded a couple of episodes. One of them was called The Wall. And in this episode, I told a story about when I was a small kid, way back in the day, and I found myself on top of a wall trying to entertain my friends down below. And it was just kind of like a little podcasty episode that I put together to have a couple of episodes pre-recorded for my holiday. And it turns out that episode resonated with quite a few people. And Purple Glitch captured the feelings and the emotions in that episode so brilliantly in this piece. Not only encapsulating that episode itself, but also bringing the almost childlike idea of GigaCorp to life with a Rendog sort of balancing on top of a wall. You know, this is not a thing you would expect a scientist to be doing in a colony. You know, it's kind of like a childish act for a scientist to be balancing on top of the wall. It's kind of a thing like a 10-year-old would do, for example, like little Rendog, for example. And of course, there's Rosie, an important character in the GigaCorp storyline, balancing along with us on top of the wall here too. with the Gigapod from Season 9 blasting off in the background. A whole bunch of amazing little details too. A space rat in a mycelium. And I really love how Purple conceptualized what a mycelium might look like IRL too. And this piece does two things. Well, it does many things. Number one, it captures my childish imagination in a way that I could never have imagined on a piece of art. It also captures the comedy of the GigaCorp storyline with the space rats and all the weird stuff that happens, the squirtopods and all the silliness that GigaCorp comes along with. And it also captures the seriousness of it all, right? This very serious, solid wall, space rocket in the background, a moon, a spaceport in the background. There's so many emotions and so many ideas captured in this single frame that there was absolutely no ways this wasn't going to be in my gallery. So a big shout out to Purple Glitch for this one. Oil on canvas, a day in the life of a 10-year-old Rendog, which I suppose, when I look at this, makes me realize that that 10-year-old is still very much alive in this very old body. And I appreciate that very much, to be able to come here, see this, and be reminded that though our bodies may be old, our minds don't need to be. Next up, safety poster by EnoCamel. And I thought this was a really excellent one to include in the gallery because this is literally something that might be posted up around a GigaCorp colony itself, right? It reminds me a little bit of Fallout, where in the vaults, there are posters to remind the survivors what to do and what not to do. You know, if you ever played any Fallout games, you would see posters like that. And I can imagine this poster being put around the public service areas of a GigaCorp colony. Never slack, always watch your back, which is a safety protocol for GigaCorp. Because, of course, there are creekliums around. There are, you know, all sorts of dangers lurking in the corners of any GigaCorp base. By the end of GigaCorp Base's life, there will be creekliums, there will be space rats, there will be sulfur everywhere. Not a safe place to go. And of course, you don't want to alarm your scientists and your workers, you want to keep them happy, so you make a nice, happy little poster about the whole situation. And I really love the expression on Rendog's face. We've got the Gigabug over here, of course, which is the camera that we use to free cam around the world. What a cool little callback to the Gigabug. That has actually been with us since Season 9 too. And really love this one. Safety protocol for all GigaCorp scientists. Beware! Craig the Creeklium. He will, well, destroy your soul. He's a very dangerous little fella indeed. So, great job, EnoCamel. Really, really love that one. Now, speaking of capturing GigaCorp vibes, I was incredibly impressed and blown away by this illustration done by Sunspot, the Quotidian Rhythm. And the reason I chose this one is that I wanted a really serious piece of art here depicting the GigaCorp idea I had. And if there was a very serious Netflix show called GigaCorp, this is what it would look like. These two illustrations really bring my cinematic idea of GigaCorp to life. And this is a much more serious Rendog scientist looking very intently down at today's tasks in the colony, right? Suggesting here that every day in a colony is a rhythm. There is things to do. We got to get up. We got to go check the equipment. We got to maintain the smelter. We got to sort out the space rat infestation. We need to get blueprints ready to build new structures. And on top of that, we need to do some scientific research, take pictures, take samples, send them back to HQ, etc., etc. And a very serious Rendog scientist doing his work here in the colony, with some really beautiful touches. Love the equipment belt with the Gigabug in the front, of course. And isn't the suit that he's wearing so ridiculously awesome? I love it so much. It is so cool. I love the logo on the side too. The backpack is so cool. And I don't know, I just want this to be a video game, right? Like, how cool would this be to be able to play as this character in this setting with these vibes? And love all the color in the background too. The atmosphere just captures that sort of smoggy, spore-infested atmosphere you might expect in a GigaCorp colony, almost choking. You know, you can almost smell the sulfur when you look at this picture. And absolutely love it to death. What a fantastic piece of work here by Sunspot also. My fellow GigaCorp scientists from all over the Gigaverse, how proud I am to be representing us here in the HermitCraft Season 10 Art Gallery for the rest of eternity, or for at least as long as this HermitCraft world exists somewhere on a hard drive. These amazing artists have been immortalized here in this gallery, and so has the concept and the idea of GigaCorp, and I am eternally grateful to all of the artists, not only those who made it into the gallery, but those who also submitted their pieces of work for this. I am so grateful for you all for spending so much time on bringing my idea to life in ways that I could only ever imagine possible. So grateful, so honored, and yeah, absolutely amazing. Thank you, everybody. One last thing to show you before we wrap up this episode, everybody. You might have noticed towers. Yes, many, many towers. In fact, all of the towers throughout the base have now been completed. And this was certainly a very grindy task indeed, because there were many, many towers all the way around the perimeter of the GigaCorp colony, on every single corner and along every single bit of wall. We've got chicken circuit-powered towers turning on the lights, spotting the space rats down below and the enemies outside. And I've created a couple of gates here too. Throughout the colony, which is great. So we've got some really nice ways to get in and out of the place now. There's a gate over here, another one over here, a sort of mini version, and all the way back here, of course, is the main exit of the base that heads all the way back to spawn and to that side of the server and that side of the server. And yeah, really pleased with how these towers came out. I think they do a really great job breaking up the symmetry of the wall, which was a little bit too flat for my taste. And now seeing these towers popping up every now and then makes it feel a little bit more like military vibes and a little bit more serious, I suppose. And I'm very, very happy with these towers indeed. They've turned out magnificently, as well as these little entrances that we've got everywhere. Very nice indeed. But yes, I think that's probably going to do it for today's episode. Everybody, wanted to show you the awesome gallery that we've got going on here and all of the changes that have been going on around the base. And I'm going to crack on for the rest of today working on some new things that I'd like to build next week here in the base. For now, I would like to breed a few more of these space rats and start to distribute them across the base also to repopulate the area and get the place back up to a living standard, so to speak. Without space rats, there is no GigaCorp colony vibes. And we're all about the vibes up in this here zone. Anyway, that's going to do it for today, friends. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end of the episode, I do appreciate it. And, well, looking forward to see you in the next one. Bye, everybody. Smell you later.